Another twist in the Disney proxy fight. Advisory firm Institutional Shareholder Services recommending Disney shareholders elect activist investor Nelson Peltz to the board in his ongoing battle against CEO Bob Iger. Earlier this week, major Disney shareholders George Lucas and Laurene Powell-Jobs both spoke out in support of Iger. Joining us right now is Puck's Matt Belloni. And Matt, this has been a crazy one to watch, just how heated this has gotten. We should probably point out that Glass Lewis, the other proxy voting firm, actually said, no, you shouldn't be electing Nelson Peltz or his second person for the board seat. How do you think this plays out?
It's fascinating. They really are drawing the battle lines, and people are lining up. And we saw George Lucas, who obviously sold Lucasfilm to Disney. He is backing Iger. We saw Laurene Powell-Jobs. Obviously, she has a very good relationship with Disney, big shareholder. She is backing Iger. ISS is an interesting one because they have had ties to Nelson Peltz in the past. They are friendly there. And it's sort of the only big one that he has been able to line up. He's done a number of profiles in the media in the past week or two. And there haven't been a lot of people that have been lining up on his side. So I would say Iger has the distinct edge in the sort of who's backing who category. What
do you mean ISS has ties to Nelson Peltz in the past?
I believe that he has worked with them in previous fights. Check me on that, but I believe that he is friendlier with them than the other firm. But you know, it's really turning into a who is friendlier with who, because everyone has an interest here. I mean, Peltz has pointed out that a number of the people that Iger has lined up on his side have been paid millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, by Disney, George Lucas among them.
Yeah, but I mean, George Lucas is the biggest shareholder, so that seems like a weird conflict to say. That's a conflict because he's a big shareholder and got paid billions of dollars. He got paid in stock that he kept and decided not to sell.
And George Lucas has not been the most friendly towards Disney in the past.
Yeah, he's complained about how he was not going to stay around and work with them, but he said that he was relieved when Iger came back, that he thought it was a better move for the company, and that's why he's kept his shares.
Exactly. And, you know, the same with the Disney family. Iger has a very tenuous relationship with the Disney family, particularly Abigail Disney, who is an activist and has been very critical of Bob Iger's salary in particular. She has come out in favor of Iger, which I think a lot of people were surprised, and Disney was able to line up the family like that. They don't get along with each other. They certainly have not always gotten along with Iger. So that's a big win on his side.
I guess they look at it as fox in a hen house sort of scenario to all be circling the wagons like that, to mix a bunch of metaphors.
Well, they essentially said that. They have said, Abigail said that, you know, I've had my differences with Iger, but it's pretty clear that the Nelson Peltz crew would be worse in her view.
Maybe the biggest thing the Disney management has going for it right now is the stock's performance this year. What's it up about 23% for the year so far?
Yeah, and honestly, we would not be talking about the strength of the Disney position in this proxy fight if it weren't for the gains in the stock this year. They have done, you know, Iger's performance on the last earnings call was especially strong, made a bunch of announcements, got people excited. You know, Disney has that thing where you can tease a new ride or tease a movie, Moana 2, or tease the Taylor Swift movie coming to Disney Plus, and it gets people excited. And Disney has a lot of these shareholders that are individuals or have been passed down through families. They're counting on those people showing up in the proxy fight.
Even if Disney wins this battle, though, there's a lot more heavy lifting that the company's going to have to do. This is a troubled environment for media stocks. And you have the issue of trying to find Bob Iger's successor, which didn't work last time around. So now they've brought in James Gorman as lead director. He's going to be involved with, or as a director involved with, helping find that succession planning. How are things shaping up on that front?
Well, he recently joined the board, and he made some comments about the process at Morgan Stanley, which was perceived as a very successful process. Not only did they find a successor, but the people that were passed over didn't leave. And I think that's a key point. There was a Bloomberg report last week that I've written about at Puck that highlighted that Disney is focusing on 4 internal candidates. Doesn't mean they won't select someone outside, but they have 4 people that they have focused on: the head of the parks, head of TV, head of film, and head of ESPN. And those 4 executives have been interviewed. Iger's, teaching them the ropes. They're getting to do other things outside their typical purview. I saw them all, except for one, at the Oscars, and you wouldn't expect to see the head of parks at the Oscars. So they are making moves like that. And I think that Bloomberg story that dropped will help on that front, because that has been a big problem with Iger. And Peltz has pounced on that to say, listen, this guy doesn't want to leave. There's no succession plan. And now at least they're making noises about it. We'll see how serious they are, but they are making noises about it.